All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Land of Chem. I am your host and the author. My name is Jeffrey Drum. Thank you all so much for joining me again. All right, everyone, welcome back. This is episode 108, and today I have two topics to present. First, an investigation of the magnetic field surrounding the bent pyramid of Dashur, and second, a review of a paper revealing the ability of the Great Pyramid of Giza to concentrate electromagnetic energy fields within its chambers. This is an absolutely immense episode, so buckle your seatbelts. And if this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the ancient technology of a lost civilization utilizing physics and chemistry, and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world, this is the channel for you. So please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube. Remember to click that little notification bell so that you do not miss the new episodes that premiere twice per week. Like, comment, and stay tuned. If you want to help support this channel, check out the Land of Chem members only section for exclusive research and unreleased footage that you will not see anywhere else. Link in the video description below. If you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some Land of Chem merch, check out thelandofchem.com. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget to check out our two newest channels here on YouTube, Egypt Eats and Egyptian Trash Cats. Link in the video description below. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that is it for today's intro. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, everyone, a quick formal announcement. Bookings for the Land of Chem 2024 Ancient Alchemy and Ascension Tour are now open. If you are interested in joining, please send me an email to contact@thelandofchem.com with the subject line 2024 Egypt Tour, and I'll put my email address in the video description below. I will send you the full tour itinerary and pricing, and stay tuned for the full tour promo video dropping later this week. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you soon here in Egypt. All right, everyone, here we go with tonight's episode. And to begin, here is a diagram showing the strength of the Earth's magnetic field, which ranges from 25,000 to 65,000 units in nanotesla, a unit applied to describing magnetic field strength, with the strongest concentration surrounding the north and south poles. And as you can see here in Egypt, we lie on a belt in the range of approximately 45,000. And the structures we have been discussing from England and Ireland are in the 50,000 range. So after witnessing some magnetic field anomalies surrounding the stone and earth structures of England and Ireland, I decided to investigate these fields surrounding the Egyptian pyramids. So I downloaded a multi-physics-based application on my phone that will allow me to test different parameters, which includes a magnetometer to detect and measure magnetic field. So this will be an ongoing series of collecting this type of data from around and inside the Egyptian pyramids. So first, I measured the magnetic field where I currently live, which is an area about 40 minutes away from the pyramid sites. And you can see here that it showed 32 or 32,000 when converted to the same nanotesla unit that was shown on the diagram. So it was actually quite a bit lower than the expected 45 that should be present in this area. And this measurement established a baseline of comparison for the field strength around different areas of the pyramid sites. All right, everyone, we are back. And after 3 weeks of expeditions across the ancient megalithic landscape of England and Ireland, time to return to the desert. And after getting absolutely drenched for 3 weeks in a row, it looks like we brought it with us. That's right. Something you don't see every day out here. the ghostly shadow of the red pyramid to the north there in the distance. So on today's expedition, where is she? There we go. Got Lex.
Everybody.
From Ancient Odysseys with me, as always these days. Today, we came out here to investigate. Well, I have several things on the agenda for today that I want to take a look at. We'll do our best to determine if there's any magnetic anomalies around some of the stones here at the Bent Pyramid. I've been quite inspired by my research into the ancient stone circles and structures of England and Ireland. And as I mentioned in episode 104, everything that applies to those stone circle systems also applies here at the pyramids of Egypt. So we're going to take a walk around the Bent Pyramid, go over to the eastern temple of both the main. Man, that looks crazy when it's wet. All right, so we're going to walk around to the eastern side and we will take a look at the temple.
All right, the next reading that you can see here is from the eastern side of the Bent Pyramid, pressed right up against the casing stones, and it showed 40, a 25% increase in the magnetic field strength compared to our baseline away from the structures. I then tested the magnetic field strength inside the Hotep adjacent to the pyramid, and you can see here another increase up to 45. A 13% increase in the magnetic field strength only a few steps away inside of this quote-unquote Hotep, and a 40% increase away from the baseline reading. And here's a clip so you can see this area of the structure for yourself.
All right, we just finished doing some preliminary testing using a magnetometer to evaluate the magnetic field surrounding the Hotep here as compared to the ambient field in the desert, and then up against the casing stones of the pyramid. And to eliminate any interference caused by our electronic devices, I will put in some screenshots of the magnetometer on my phone, which is showing about a 10% fluctuation in magnetic field strength from inside of this Hotep compared to the base of the pyramid and the ambient magnetic field in the desert. And two features that I want to highlight here. It's actually one two-part dual feature, part of a single system with two components, which are the two pillars here, which originally would have risen much taller than this. And these two pillars are absolutely not ornamental or decorative in any way. As you can see, there's no hieroglyphs inscribed upon them, and they are a part of this functional system. And I figured I would give you the absolutely spectacular shot that we have right here. Such an amazing feeling to be back home
back here in the desert. I know, yeah, it's beautiful with all the grass and the greenery and the rolling hills and the views. But this is where it's at for me. And we will be investigating the system here on the eastern side of the Bent Pyramid.
We then walked over to the satellite pyramid, where I tested the area in between the remains of the two stone pillars on its eastern side that you can see here.
All right. And our secondary location for investigation today is here on the eastern side of the Bent Pyramid's satellite pyramid. And there were also two pillars located here on the side of this structure. The extremely deteriorated and eroded remains of which you can see here. So these two fragments of stone here, embedded into the bedrock, used to be two pillars that once stood on the eastern side of this pyramid, and they served a similar function to that of what we just saw on the eastern side of the main structure.
And the magnetometer showed a magnetic field strength in the middle of the pillars, reading 41.7. And then directly above the pillars, an increase of 2 units up to 43.7. And I took all of these readings with the other electronic equipment turned off and kept far away to eliminate any interference. So to summarize, there was a 40% increase in the magnetic field strength from our baseline reading of 32 that increased up to 45 inside the Bent Pyramid's Hotep. And there were fluctuations of the magnetic field above and between the pillars. However, all of these numbers did fall within the normal ranges for the Earth's general magnetic field strength. And yes, I was investigating this area of the structure specifically and intentionally, as it will be coming up soon in a future episode, and I will continue to accumulate data at different sites, including on the Giza Plateau, and will report back with any interesting findings. All right, next up, on to an absolutely major breakthrough in Great Pyramid research. As you can see here, quote, "Study reveals the Great Pyramid of Giza can focus electromagnetic energy." And I will walk you through the results of these experiments and explain how this discovery is directly related to my theory on the function of the Great Pyramid, and it works exactly as I had anticipated. Now, the following comes from the 2018 paper entitled Electromagnetic Properties of the Great Pyramid: First Multipole Resonances and Energy Concentration, as published in the Journal of Applied Physics. And I will put links in the video description below so you can go read it for yourself. And here, quoted from the paper's abstract: resonant response of the Great Pyramid interacting with external electromagnetic waves of radio frequency range. A wavelength range is from 200 to 600 meters, is theoretically investigated. Electromagnetic field distributions inside the pyramid at the resonant conditions are demonstrated and discussed for 2 cases. when the pyramid is located in a homogeneous space or on a substrate. It is revealed that the pyramid's chambers can collect and concentrate electromagnetic energy for both surrounding conditions. In the case of the pyramid on the substrate, at the shorter wavelengths, the electromagnetic energy accumulates in the chambers, providing local spectral maxima for electric and magnetic fields. It is shown that basically the pyramid scatters the electromagnetic waves and focuses them into the substrate region. So you can see here that radio waves lie on the lowest energy end of the electromagnetic energy spectrum, and they have very long wavelengths as compared to higher energy electromagnetic energy waves with much shorter wavelengths. And you can see here that AM radio waves have a wavelength of 100 meters. And this team is using even lower energy, longer wavelengths of 200 to 600 meters. Extremely low energy and long wavelengths in comparison to the rest of the electromagnetic energy spectrum. And this will be relevant as we reach the conclusions of the paper and applications of the properties demonstrated in relation to my theory on the function of the Great Pyramid, which is for the production of sulfuric acid via a sonochemical reaction that harnesses lightning to create ultrasound within the red granite of the furnace as amplified inside the acoustic antechamber. Now, on to the parameters of the experiment, first examining the pyramid shape in a homogeneous environment. And I will quote here, "We first study the scattering of an external radio frequency electromagnetic wave by the pyramid located in a homogeneous environment. It is known that the pyramid blocks are made of limestone. From the literature, one can observe that the limestone permittivity value slightly varies in the range of 4 to 6 depending on porosity, temperature, humidity, etc. So permittivity is defined here as a constant of proportionality that relates the electric field in a material to the electric displacement in that material. And this is directly related to everything that I have been presenting regarding the dielectric properties of limestone and various other materials, and their capacitance for the storage of electric fields as expressed by their dielectric constant. As you can see here at the bottom, this definition of permittivity coming from an excerpt discussing dielectric, electric fields, and capacitance from Encyclopedia Britannica. So, as I have proposed, the reason the electric field concentration phenomena that are revealed in this paper are possible is due to the dielectric properties of the limestone. One thing to keep in mind is that they do not take into account the use of red granite in the construction of the Great Pyramid. But red granite has a similar dielectric constant to that of limestone. So for the purposes of this experiment, it is not particularly relevant. However, it definitely is relevant when applied to my hypothesis about the function of these two chambers. So for the first series of experiments, they applied the radio wave electromagnetic field from the top, following the vector indicated here at K, with the pyramid shape in a homogeneous environment. And this is what they found for several different wavelengths. And you can see here that they tested 333 meters, 285 meters, 230 meter, and 200 meter wavelengths. And they are showing both the electric field concentration at the top and the magnetic field concentration at the bottom. And for the purposes of today's episode and my research, we are going to analyze in depth specifically the electric field concentration. And you can see here the shorter wavelengths of 230 and 200 meters. There was an intense concentration of the electric field around the king's chamber, as indicated here with this black rectangle. And here's a close-up image where you can see the black rectangle here and here, indicating the relative position of the king's chamber within the structure. And the red areas indicate the highest strength electric field at 230 meters here on the left. And at 200 meter wavelength, the red completely fills not only the king's chamber, but also the surrounding areas, which would also include the antechamber. Pretty interesting stuff, but this is just the beginning. Next, the electromagnetic field was applied from the bottom, according to vector K, which you can see here. Again, with the pyramid in a homogeneous environment with these results. Not much happening in terms of concentration of electric fields inside of the chambers, but some interesting effects shown here at 230 meter wavelength in D, and also some electric field concentration at 330 meter wavelength, as shown here on the left in A. And a close-up of image A, and you can see some red, intense electric field concentration here inside of the black rectangle, indicating the king's chamber. But now, here is where things get even more fascinating. And I will quote here, "Next, we study the more realistic case when the pyramid is located on the limestone plateau, i.e. substrate, as depicted in figure 5A. So basically, they added the limestone base of the Giza Plateau itself to the experiment. And they focused just on the electromagnetic energy coming into the top of the structure, again indicated here by vector K, and you can now see the limestone substrate of the Giza Plateau added to the experiment parameters. And this vector K is directly relevant to my theory about the Great Pyramid being struck by lightning, and the results were exactly what I had expected. So here, you can see that in the shorter wavelength, higher energy electromagnetic fields, there was significant concentration of the electric field into the area surrounding the king's chamber, and also a distribution of that electric field into the bedrock of the Giza Plateau. And the application of this phenomenon as related to the production of acidic solutions and the leach mining of metallic ore deposits will all be coming up soon. And it works exactly as I had anticipated. Now, let's take a look at some close-ups, remembering that these examples are looking at the electric field concentration and distribution when the electromagnetic energy is directed into the structure from above, including the limestone bedrock substrate. And here, you can see that the two lower wavelengths with higher energy of 250 meters and 220 meters showing concentration of the electric field in the area encompassing the king's and antechambers, and the intense distribution of the electric field into the bedrock of the Giza Plateau. This is absolutely fascinating, but there was an additional finding that I did not expect as you can see here. And I will quote, another important observation we did is the concentration of electromagnetic fields inside the pyramid, and especially inside its chambers, at the wavelength of 200 meters. At the shorter wavelengths, the field intensities increase in comparison to the longer wavelengths. Interestingly to note that the accumulation of the electromagnetic energy in the chamber under the pyramid is realized in the electromagnetic focusing region. And you can see down here at the bottom left that the subterranean chamber also experiences some concentration of the electric field at the shortest wavelength used in the experiment of 200 meters. And a close-up of that image here, where they have included the relative position of all three chambers: the king's chamber, the queen's chamber, and the subterranean chamber. So in conclusion, I will quote, the multipole analysis of the electromagnetic wave scattering by the Great Pyramid has been performed in the radio frequency range and revealed important physical properties concerning the accumulation and focusing of electromagnetic energy. It has been shown that the pyramids can resonantly scatter electromagnetic waves and support resonant excitation of electromagnetic multipoles, which resulted from strongly electromagnetic fields in the pyramid volume. More importantly, for the pyramid located on the substrate, we have found that it basically scatters electromagnetic waves into the substrate, i.e. the bedrock of the Giza Plateau, where the focusing effect is observed. It was established that the pyramid's chambers can concentrate electromagnetic energy at the resonant conditions. In the conclusion, note that the excitation of the pyramid with shorter incident wavelengths could result in the excitation of higher order resonances with strong field concentration effects. So now, how does this apply to my theory on the function of the Great Pyramid? Well, first, they are using extremely low energy electromagnetic waves, which demonstrate the potential capabilities of the pyramid geometry and position of the chambers to concentrate electric fields within the structure. However, they state directly that these effects could be intensified by decreasing the wavelength and increasing the energy introduced into the system, which requires further investigation. So remember from the beginning of the video that they were using low energy, low frequency radio waves to produce these effects, but the findings suggest that using higher energy, higher frequency waves could increase the concentration of these electric fields within the chambers. Also, when red granite is introduced into the equation, we will not only have concentration of the electric field in the king's chamber and the acoustic catalyst antechamber, but also the electric field will induce the inverse piezoelectric effect within the quartz inside the red granite, which will produce ultrasound, which is then amplified within the acoustic catalyst antechamber, just as I've explained previously in episode 100. Next, what happens when we replace the electromagnetic energy completely, removing these low energy, low frequency radio waves and replacing it with an immensely powerful, instantaneous electrostatic lightning discharge directly into the structure? This, ladies and gentlemen, is where the Great Pyramid will come alive. And I have a whole lot more coming up on this soon, so please subscribe and stay tuned. All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. This was episode 108, Electric Fields Inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and in this week's Sunday Site Visit, I explore another forgotten site from ancient history, the Figsbury Rings. If this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the ancient technology of a lost civilization utilizing chemistry and physics, and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world, this is the channel for you. So please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube. Don't forget to click that little notification bell, like, comment, and stay tuned if you want to help support the channel. Check out the Land of Chem members only section for exclusive research and unreleased footage. Link in the video description below. If you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch, thelandofchem.com. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget, please check out and subscribe to our two newest channels here on YouTube, Egypt Eats for food reviews and Egyptian Trash Cats for the documentation of our adventures caring for our Egyptian street cat family. Thank you all so much for the support, and ladies and gentlemen, I think that is it for today's episode, so I will see you next time. Yo, are you still watching this? Please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and click that little notification button. New videos coming out every single week. And check out this other episode. Come on, do it. Do it now.